Hi, everybody. Good morning. I hope you can hear me. I'm just getting everybody logged on. As soon as I close it, a bunch more join us. So just trying to get everybody on. I know you guys know we have a lot of changes that have happened. The wind blew. I'm just going to wait because I do not want to repeat myself today. I have a lot of information to give you guys. And I even figured something out. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm trying not to giggle too hard because I'm impressed with this one. Oh, let's get everybody logged on. I hope everybody's having a great day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for letting me do the delay of one day for Widget's Way. Yesterday, I spent the day teaching at crime-free housing in Riverside. So I was at the police department all day teaching classes, not because I was in trouble. Just wanted to throw that part in there. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I know we'll have people continually join us. Thank you guys for working with my crazy schedule. It was the first time in over a year that I've done an in-person event. So I really needed to do that to make sure I didn't lose it. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. I did okay. I had a few funny moments. Gonna talk to you guys today about AB 832. People are trying to call me while I'm in the middle of a live. I love it. AB 832 passed. This is an extension of the transitional protection period for tenants, is the nicest way that I could describe it to you. I told you guys, expect an extension. We got one. This is the extension I was hoping for, okay? Considering everything that we were up against, this is the one I was hoping would pass. We actually won 4 things. 4. We're winning. Okay, so just want to talk to you guys about the changes. I know for the most part, you guys are going to say, hey, Patty, this doesn't sound like this is a good thing. So let me explain to you the parts that we won. Assembly Bill 832 currently governs us. Times were extended. 90 days. They wanted 6 months, guys. 6 months. They got 30. I'm good with that. I hope you're good with that. The way that this moratorium, it's not a moratorium though, it's an assembly bill, is written is when, hang on, I'm still letting people in, sorry. So lots of information to give you guys in a very rapid fashion, I know, and I apologize. I'm a little wound up. I drank a Red Bull, have a lot of caffeine in me. Had an epiphany about 30 seconds before I went live, so it's not helping. Times were extended, so they added 90 days to it, okay? We knew that was gonna happen. Here's the fun part, folks. Please pay attention. I may ask questions later. What the law says, the new law that governs us, stop calling me. I'm in the middle of trying to teach. What it says, and you guys will love this part. Times were extended by 90 days. November 1st is now the first time that we can file a small claims case. Still letting people in. See, I don't want to get started because I keep going backwards. So tell you what I'm going to do. For 2 minutes, let's talk about something totally different. Let a lot of more people join us if they're going to. That way, I don't have to repeat anything. Does anybody have any questions about anything before I get started today that needs to be addressed that doesn't involve the new law? I'm using a trick to try to buy us some time before we get started. Anybody? Nothing. Okay, we're doing this. Ready? Assembly Bill 832. How is Yosemite? I love you, Val, for asking. Love it. My sister's a forest ranger up there. Had a blast. Did some fishing. For some reason or other, I had issues with the altitude this time, so I didn't do a whole lot of hiking around. Pretty much stayed at base camp. Did do some fishing. Had a great time. Mosquitoes, love it. the whole thing. Okay, here we go. Cold beer was good. Gin was even better. I'm telling on myself, I know. Okay, Assembly Bill 832, times were extended. And this is an extension of the transitional tenant protection period. It also rides it's an extension of Senate Bill 91 and an extension of Senate Bill 3088, which is what previously governed us in the beginning of the pandemic. So they basically have times extended by 90 days. So November 1st is the first time that we can file small claims. See how that moved 90 days? It also put a sunset clause on it. So you guys, please pay attention. This matters, okay? Take a note. We want to write the date down. They put a sunset clause on the unlimited cap for small claims court. So in the event you need to sue in small claims to get a judgment for the COVID rent monies that are owed to you, they put an end date on it. So the unlimited cap leaves us on October 1st of 2025. Okay, so I know we talked about not running right down there as soon as we could file a small claims case so that we don't get lost in the process, okay? But we also don't want to wait too long because we only have until October 1st of 2025, and then that closes. They're going to remove the unlimited cap. So basically, if you don't sue your tenants for the money that they owe you, once you're allowed to, you're only going to have a certain amount of time to do that. They're giving you till 2025. I mean, it's not a race, but you're going to lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. Simply said. October 1st of this year, 2021, we get our 3-day notices to pay rent or quit back. Yee! I was scared that we were gonna keep those 15-day notices. They're not keeping the 15-day notice. So as of October 2nd, not the 1st, October 2nd, we can use a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit. Why do I say not the 1st? Because the 1st is the day rent is due. It's not delinquent until the 2nd, okay? The time to pay us the 25% has been extended to September 30th of this year. So again, 90 days. They got till September 30th to pay us the 25%. And then October 2nd, we can go back to a 3-day pay or quit. Please take note. Please, please, please. If you have a 15-day notice that you're already using, it's a new one. There's an updated one. It has the new extension period on it. So make sure if you're serving your tenant a 15-day notice that you're using the new updated 15-day notice that gives them their tenant protections until the end of September, okay? So important that we have a new 15-day notice that we need to use from now to September 30th. Come October 2nd, we're back to 3-day notices to pay rent or quit for non-payment. Big deep breath. I got to keep doing it because we won some stuff in this bill, you guys. You have no idea. We won some, okay? 4 things actually. They wanted 6 months, they only got 3. There's one we won, okay? I don't want to talk about this one yet. I want to save that one because I'm happy about that one. Use of a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit is most likely going to happen come October 1st. This is the bill that I was talking about where if they already had an ordinance in place, they couldn't add any new moratoriums, okay? So I wanted a bill that stopped the moratoriums because I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning of this, each individual cities had their own moratoriums and we had to know what the rules were for each city when you'd call and ask me a question. I don't want to do that again. That hurt my brain. So the big thing for me is once COVID's over and the protected period is ended, I want everything to end. I'm done. I don't want the city of Long Beach to have their own rules and the city of LA, as we already know, have theirs. And I didn't want to try to remember everybody's rules. I would have lost my mind. So The way that it sits right now is when this protected pandemic period is over, and I've been told, and we've all heard both Newsom and the CDC say, this is it, we're not extending it. I could tell you why they extended it this time. This is a wake-up call for our tenants. Hello, the end is near, it's time for you to pay. And those additional occupants you moved in without authorization, they got to go at the end of the protected period, or we can evict you. Okay, we allowed them to come as unauthorized occupants during the pandemic, but when the pandemic is over, they got to go. So I think the reason that they extended it this time was to give a wake-up call to tenants, not to hurt us, but to give them a wake-up call. Their unauthorized occupants got to be gone by October 1st, and they got to start paying the rent in full by October 1st. The pandemic protected period stuff is over. Okay. So that's why I think they did it this time. Both CDC, Biden, everybody's saying they're not going to extend it again. We just don't know. So it all depends on how much we trust what they say. Okay. The likelihood of this getting extended again, I would say, is small, very, very small. Okay. I'm seeing more light at the end of the tunnel, not less light. Okay. Some things you need to know. No court awarded attorney's fees until after July 1st of 2025 on COVID rents. So if you're suing for non-payment of rent, or you're in some kind of an eviction and there's COVID rents involved, know that no attorney's fees are going to get awarded. They're not going to award them to you, and they're not going to award them to them. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I get it, but that also means you're not going to have to pay their attorney's fees if you lose. You're welcome. I liked that one. Okay, so we get that the dates are extended. Now here's the fun part, you guys. And I have to say, I just finally figured out why they made homelessness a protected class in the state of California 2 weeks ago. You guys all remember that? They made homelessness a protected class in California, and I was kind of like, I don't know why. I now know why they made homelessness a protected class in the state of California. When I tell you this next bill, you'll understand why too. The new bill says that the landlords can apply for rent relief, and they're no longer giving us 80%. They're going to give us 100%. Okay. When the landlord applies for rent relief, the tenant has 20 days to apply. On day 21, if they haven't applied, you can start eviction for them for not complying. If the tenant refuses to participate in the program, folks, we can evict them now. We won one. Want me to say it again? After the landlord applies for assistance, rent relief, the tenant, you serve the tenant a notice telling them they must apply for rent relief. They have 20 days. On day 21, you can start evicting them for not complying. I wish tenants didn't have to apply and we could just apply for them on our own, because the reality is we wouldn't be in the predicaments we are if we didn't have to depend on them to do their part. The downside of it, and I'm being straightforward and honest with you, is tenants are going to vacate. If they really don't want the government in their business, they're going to vacate. Either that or they're going to drag you through an eviction, okay? But they're going to vacate. And if they vacate, it makes it even harder, okay? Hold on, Val, I'll come to your question. Because in my mind, and I'm playing this forward, if the tenant vacates rather than applying for the government assistance, now I can't get the money. I can only sue them in small claims court. Okay. Val, one of the problems that we had, just so you're aware, is the landlord was applying. I know they're not they're not homeless. I know, I'll get to why I found out homelessness became a protected class. Okay. I know, Val, I'll get there. I figured it out. I'm excited. I'm sorry, you guys. I feel like weight is being lifted off of us. So what I'm saying to you now is if the landlord applies for the money and waits 20 days, and in that 20 days, the tenant doesn't apply, we can evict them for non-payment of rent and not applying with the program. So we can start evictions right now for those tenants that say, I don't want the government in my business. I don't want to apply. Now we have recourse, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. So for those of us that applied and then our tenants refused to apply and there was nothing we could do about it, there is now. Now we can evict them for not complying. We won that, okay? So we have, and I'll give you an example, we have landlords in high rent areas where they're basically in a pissing match between the landlord and the tenant, utilizing and abusing these COVID protection laws. So they're battling, I don't want the government in my business. Well, now they're telling them, come on, these people's rents are like $10,000, $12,000 a month. Okay. They're like, I don't want the government in my business. Well, now they can force them. They can force them to apply. They're most likely going to vacate, or maybe they'll just buckle and pay the money because God knows they have it. I was really happy about that. I'm also really happy that municipalities can't come up with their own COVID stuff. When COVID's done, it's done, except for the cities that already had moratoriums in place. That would be LA County is going to be extended 6 months through the whole county of LA. The city of LA is going to be 12 months. And San Diego County is going to be 6 months. Okay. I think somebody tipped off San Diego is why they came up with this freeze all of a sudden. And then boom, now they're grandfathered in there because they had a moratorium before this law passed. So guess what? San Diego, City of LA, LA County are going to have additional protections afterwards. Basically, the law continues to protect them for 12 months to 6 months afterwards. City of Los Angeles is 12 months. County of Los Angeles is 6 months. San Diego County, 6 months. So for those of us that want to increase rents in those areas, please take note. Don't do it. If you're in LA County, you're going to have to wait 6 months after the pandemic. Same thing for San Diego County. In the city of LA, you're looking at 12 months. So just trying to make sure you're on the right side of the fence. I really like that we now can hold them accountable and either force them to apply, evict them, or have them bail, because we need to get our money back. Hang on, Gabby. Let me go back just a little bit so I can explain why homelessness became a protected class. With tenants manipulating and abusing the system, and mind you, the study says that's 49% of all delinquent tenants right now. It's almost half. Half of them are abusing the system. Because we as landlords can now evict for them not complying with the system, in the next several months, half of the state, if half of them aren't paying and abusing the system, half the state's going to be homeless. There's nowhere for these people to go, and we're getting some of our rights back. We're going to be able to evict them. We are going to be the cause that half of the state of California becomes homeless in the next 6 to 12 months. Let's face it. I'm one of them. I got an a-hole tenant that thinks they know more than I do. Okay. I'm one of them. I am going to throw them out on their asses just because I can. They have screwed me over for long enough. I've had enough of it. They won't apply, yada, yada, yada. As soon as I can, I am cutting those strings. I'm done. So please know I'm one of those people in that battle for somebody that's manipulating the system. Not only did they get a brand new car, they went to Europe for 30 days and took a cruise while they were there too. God love Facebook. It's disgusting. I want to go to Europe. How'd they get there? Sorry, I'm emotionally attached to some of these things, okay? Okay, let me go back to the questions. I just wanted to explain why I now know homelessness is a protected class, because half of the state of California is going to be homeless in the next 6 months. Okay. So Val, that was the homelessness and why I now know why we have homelessness as a protected class, because we haven't done it yet, but we as landlords, and I'm one of them, are gonna make that happen. Because we've had enough, you guys. We got to stop this bleeding. When does this start? This starts today, dear. Gabby, I applied 2 months ago for 4 tenants, and when I called Housing is Key to find out that if the tenant applied, they said they couldn't give me any information. They're going to have to prove to you that they applied, Gabby. So if you applied 2 months ago and nothing's happened, you as the landlord apply. You don't have to apply for tenants anymore. They have to apply on their own. Okay. And Gabby, I get you. So for those of you that don't understand what we're talking about, we had our on-site managers sitting on a chair in the common area of their apartment communities with masks on, taking the information from the tenant and entering it on a laptop so that they were applying. They were doing everything they could to keep those lines of communication open so that they could get that money. So keep that in mind when she says she applied for tenants, okay? If they don't apply, you're going to be able to evict. So just know that. When will the 12 months countdown start to be able to raise rents in LA City RSO units? Contact your legal counsel. But please know this, okay? And this is me talking to you. When you asked me like that, it sounds like you're asking me for legal advice. And my blonde brain always tries to protect me, okay? So I don't want to answer legal questions. So you're asking me, when can I raise the rent? In my opinion, that's a legal question. So let's restructure the question so that I can answer it better for you, okay? Your attorney is going to tell you most likely that you can increase the rents now if they haven't been affected. Why are they going to tell you that? Because there's no case law. Until there's case law, we don't know what the rules are. They want to be in litigation. They want those cases. That's how they make a living. Okay, you with me? We're reading the same book. Okay, for me, I would wait. The 12 months count when the protected period is over. So for us, that would be September 30th. So day 1 of 12 months is going to start for you on October 1st. I'm sorry. So October 1st. Same thing with, yes, San Diego. It is the entire county. You know how you guys can't do anything and they froze everything in San Diego County with that moratorium, no evictions. And I'll tell you how bad it is for no evictions straight out of the box. Lockouts canceled. Writs returned to the courthouse. Okay. Yada, yada. So does this make sense? Okay. I mean, they shut San Diego down. Nothing can happen unless you have criminal activity. That is the only reason you can do an eviction in San Diego County, and that will continue for 6 months after the pandemic protected period. Mind you, the protected period just got extended to September 30th, therefore October 1st. So you guys are 6 months. October, November, December, January, February, March. We're including March. So April is going to be April 1st. April Fool's Day is when you get that was bad and poor planning. I didn't have anything to do with it. But yeah, April Fool's Day is what it looks like to me. For you guys to do your rent increases, terminate tenancy without cause, things like that, okay? For us to go back to normal, so to speak. Hang on, I saw some more. Yes, it includes the San Diego County 6-month moratorium extension includes San Diego City. Yes, it includes all of the cities within the county of San Diego. So it covers all of it. San Diego City, what is that one that starts with an M? The Mission one, it's all of that, okay? I can't even think of a city name in San Diego right now because my head is just spinning with all this information that I learned. La Mesa, it's all included. Anything that's in the county of San Diego. Okay. I was wondering if they paid part of the rent that was owed and changes the amount from the new application from Housing is Key that they owe, do we have to contact Housing is Key? Hold on, pump your brakes. If you applied through Housing is Key already and got the 80%, they're going to send you the additional 20%. Okay, you don't have to reapply for the 20%. If you applied and there's new, I'd call them and ask them, what do we need to do? You don't have to change the amount necessarily. They're going to pay you 100% now, and they should add in future rents as you applied. But we'll talk to April about that. And I know she's on here because I know right before they're going to pay you, they call you, you re-sign the application. There's a process to it, and we'll get that all from April. See, they asked for an updated ledger. April, I'll let you talk in a few minutes when we get that far. We don't need to wait for LA mayor to call off the emergency. No. The state has stepped in and they said no more cities can do any more of their own rules. We now govern you, okay? However, if you had your own rule in place when we made this law, your rule sticks. So basically, in the county of Los Angeles, they're going to have 6 months after the protected period where they're still protected. In the city of LA, LA City RSO, City of Los Angeles, that's a year, 12 months. The whole county of San Diego, 6 months, okay? So additional protections. Let me go back to the chat. I shouldn't have drank that Red Bull. I feel like I'm going to stand on my chair and fly away. Val, you are absolutely correct. Kern County, Ventura County, Orange County are not affected by the extension after the protected period is ended through AB 832. So simply as I could say this, if you're in San Bernardino, Orange County, Ventura County, Kern County, let's just go down the list. When this is over on September 30th, on October 1st, you're back to business as normal. You should have the 25% of the rent paid by September 30th. If it's not, you can start eviction on the 25%. But let's face it, hopefully we're applying for the government assistance. The government's paying us, and that's a done deal. They understand what's about to happen. And that's why they're giving us 100%. That's why they're forcing tenants to apply. The government finally sees the big picture, okay? And the big picture is if they don't step in and do something, half the state's going to be homeless. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Half of the state is going to be homeless. That's why they made homelessness a protected class. So then we couldn't discriminate because they're homeless now. Okay. You got to keep in mind, there's nowhere for them to go. There's no housing available. You guys all know this. I don't need to tell you, right? Go try to look for a house for rent. Hell, go try to look for a house to buy or a condo or an apartment or anything. There's no housing available. So once they evict all these people, okay, and just hear me, where are the evicted people going to go? There's no housing available. Right? They're going to move into your unit. They're going to come to you. So we may see a housing crisis get even worse before it gets better. And we'll go from there. But I'm ready to answer questions, I think. And I'm so excited that we're starting to get our rights back. Because come on, let's face it, you guys, the government stepped in. They took our lease contract and basically made it trash. They took our rental agreements, made it trash. We can't make our mortgages. Now they're finally going to help us and give us 100% because they know that we still have the power to make that tenant homeless. And that's what they're trying to stop. That's why they're forcing tenants to apply. So now the government is holding them accountable for their actions. Wait, you mean we can evict them if they don't want to participate in the governmental program because the government doesn't need to be in their business? We want another one, guys. So we want a few of them. Okay. The government sees the big problem, which is what's about to happen if they don't do anything. Hence why they made it so that we can put them in legal in the event that they refuse to apply for the government assistance. So that helps, you guys. It helps. It helps. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Let me see what Val's asking. Other counties like Kern County are not affected by the moratoriums. If they're currently not affected by a moratorium, there is no moratorium. So I will tell you where moratoriums are, okay? In Southern California, we have San Diego County, the entire county, LA County, the entire county, and the city of Los Angeles. So LA County, San Diego County are both 6 months. The city of Los Angeles, so Los Angeles City, LARSO, they are 12 months. And then I'm going back to the questions because there was more. They're not affected by moratoriums, Val. Your properties are most likely clear. Orange County doesn't have a moratorium. Kern County doesn't have a moratorium. Riverside County does not have a moratorium. Ventura County does not have a moratorium. Should I keep going or you guys are getting me? Okay, I don't want to sound like a robot. We just had 2 tenants leave, paid in full. Okay, paid in full. Yeah, dodged a bullet, baby. We do not want to rent to anyone now and we'll sell them. Didn't expect to sell, but certainly don't want to rent any more. Trouble. I got you. And I know that you may not have wanted to sell. And I'll say this, okay? Being in the real estate game for 30 years plus, God, I'm old. I could tell you this, and I'm not the only one that says this, and I'm sure you've heard it from a lot of people. Buy low, sell high. If you're trying to buy in this market, you got it wrong. If you're selling in this market, you know what you're doing. You sell when it's the highest, you buy when it's the lowest. So Val, maybe it's time to sell a couple of investments and then reinvest in another state. I don't know. I mean, you have options, right? You could do a 1031 tax exchange so that you're not paying capital gains tax and that money's not hitting the ground. Okay. Did you pay attention? 1031 tax exchange. Got it? Nobody wants to pay capital gains tax, but the market's high right now. I mean, people are up $100,000 in equity in the since the pandemic happened. You've gone up in value exponentially. So why not take advantage of it? Yes, Val, I agree. Before Biden cancels the 1031 tax exchange, you might want to get in that program. Just saying. So I'm excited about this, you guys, because this is it. When it's done, it's done. Cities can't make their own rules. We've heard it from the CDC. We've heard it from the governors. They're not extending anymore. I don't think they wanted to do this extension, to be honest with you, but they had to. They had to give these tenants more time to wake up before we come chop their heads off, because that's what's going to happen. Let's face it, we're going to annihilate because we have the power, and they've burned bridges. They didn't just burn them, they destroyed them. But yeah, I mean, we're fed up. We've had enough. We're coming with a vengeance, so to speak. It's like burning a witch at the stake or something, you know. It's like, yes, we get power back. So I have no doubt we're going to see a lot of things happen with that. There is so many retaliatory issues. You guys, please be careful what you say. It's not a joke at all. We want to make sure that we're staying out of litigation at all costs and protecting our asset to the best of our ability. Okay, let's get into questions if you guys, or let's actually, if you guys don't mind looking into GST before, but let's see if we can't get a quick, April, do you have a second for a quick update on chasing the money?
Yeah, Patty, I'm here.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
So what are you finding out on the money? I know that they've switched the 80% to 100%. And if you've applied through Housing is Key and received the 80%, they're just going to send you the 20% difference. I'm
That's
hoping
correct.
they add additional months on there. You know, there should be a phone call. Are they back on track? I mean, so what do you know?
They seem to be moving faster now. Because I guess during the hearings or whatnot, the main complaint was that the rent relief program wasn't moving fast enough for the landlords. So
The
that's when
landlords are losing their investment property before the government can help them.
exactly.
But please take note, the government didn't put any moratorium to help landlords not get foreclosed on. So it's still bullshit. Okay, it's still bullshit. But at least they're paying attention to us. Okay. So
Right.
so you're seeing money coming in faster?
Yes, I actually got another 8,400 this week.
Okay. That's good to know.
And that's for one tenant.
Okay. And I know a lot of the apartment associations are already putting up notices of what to serve your tenant in the event you've applied for the government assistance and now they need to. I know I've seen a couple of those documents out and about. So you are going to need to serve that to your tenant if you intend on evicting them for not complying, just so that you're aware. And if you don't have the document, you can get it from your legal counsel, most definitely. Any more updates on the money for us, April?
I mean, it's not really anything other than they're starting to move faster, but I will, I saw a question from Val talking about that she's unable to get information. And I am having that problem too. But you just have to keep reaching out to your tenant and just let them know that you have to stay in communication with them and say, I just need an update. Do you have an update? And then say, can you call them, because they won't release any information, and it just helps me out, and I can just stay in contact with you instead of having to call them, because they won't release any information. You have a case manager and the tenant has a case manager.
Well, there's a certain amount of Privacy Act that they
Right.
have to follow, but that's how I'm wondering, how are they gonna, how they're gonna have to do something now, because now we can evict them on day 21 if they don't apply. So
Right.
they're gonna have to tell us, no, your tenant applied, they gave all their supporting documents. There's gonna be more communication. There has to be.
Right.
I
So
mean,
the case manager from the tenant will reach out to you, and they will basically ask you for your application number. That application number will be linked to the tenant's application number. And then you'll be asked for supporting documents such as an updated ledger, declaration pages that you have signed by the tenant. And then if there's anything else that they feel that you need to update, they will send you an email, and it's a task manager type of email, and you have to fulfill all of them in order for your application to be complete and processed for payment.
okay. So we're seeing things speed up a little bit. I think they're hearing us. And honestly, I think it's Newsom, scared to death he's going to get impeached. So he's trying to do right by giving us the 100% and giving us a tool to go after these tenants that are abusing the system. That's all. He's not really helping us with tenants that are genuinely affected. Let's keep that real. But we need to help those tenants that were genuinely affected. I mean, come on, you guys. At the end of the day, we're human, and we need to do the neighborly thing and try to help as much as we can. My tenants got COVID. I help them as much as I can. One of them, they were caught up fully in 3 months and haven't been late since. And she's still having a rough time, but she's still making it every month. So, you know, help them when you can, but don't put yourself in the poorhouse trying to help them. Okay. Anna, let me see what you're saying, Anna. I clicked the wrong button. Dun, 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 dun. If a 1-year term tenant makes unauthorized alterations like installing a different light fixture, a towel bar, also put lots of mounting holes in the walls, even though rental agreement says it's not allowed prior permission. They move out, but threw away the original fixtures. You can charge them to put it back the way that it was. So you can charge them to put back the original fixtures. You can charge them for the damages done. You cannot put any COVID owed rents on the disposition of security deposit, but you can charge them if they painted a different color, if they made any modifications to the property without your consent, you can charge them according to what their lease contract says. So if it says that the tenant can't make any modifications to the property without written consent of the landlord, then you can charge them for the modifications that they made without written consent of the landlord. Keep it easy. Keep it real easy. All right, you guys, I know you have questions. If you don't have questions, it means I'm doing my job because I explained things in a manner that you could retain. And that makes me happier than you could ever imagine. I'm excited that they're holding tenants accountable. We'll see what they're going to do. I'm starting to see some tenants just vacate with no notice. And I don't mean my tenants. You guys have to understand, I'm connected to hundreds, probably thousands of property managers and investors. They're telling me, oh, my tenant just up and moved out in the middle of the night yesterday. No, I know what they're doing. I know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to tuck tail and bail, and then rather than pay you, they may try to claim bankruptcy, which would be relatively easy for them to do. Consumer debt allows you to cross state lines, you guys. So remember that. If they move out of the state, normally we're done. Small claims case, wage garnishments, we can't go over state lines, but consumer debt can. So they can run, but they can't hide. Bankruptcy is their answer. Hold on, I saw another question come through. Is there any update on the funding for the city of LA? I'm not sure if I was clear that for the city of LA, we cannot evict until October 1st of 2022. That is changed, actually. It would, yeah, you're right. You can't evict until 2022 for non-payment of rent. You can still evict right now in LA for cause. Okay. I would apply for the money in LA. Hopefully they'll be redistributing funds because San Diego County didn't use hardly any of their funds and LA's out of money. So I think they're going to go back and redistribute funds so that they can cover a more vast area. Apparently, San Diego people are not applying, and they may now that they get 100% and they can evict the tenant if the tenant doesn't apply. I really like that part, you guys. It makes me breathe a little bit because I'm like, not only did we win one, we won like 4 in this, and it was so against us this whole time. And we were screaming at the top of our lungs, but they weren't listening. And now that they see it and they understand that we're about to make half the state homeless if they don't freaking pay attention to us, they get it. I think they get it because now we're at 100%. They wanted a 6-month extension. We only gave them 3. And that 3 months is a wake-up call, nothing more of, hey, you need to have 25% of the last 16 months on or before September 30th, or you could be evicted. I like the fact that they're forcing them to participate in the government program or be evicted. I love that because I don't know how many tenants are driving around in new cars or buying houses and abusing the system. And it's sad because there are people out there that have truly, genuinely been affected by this and they need that help. And it's the entitlers or the entitlementers. I'm trying not to use slang terms or foul language because I don't want to piss anybody off or discriminate, or I don't want to rock my own apple cart. So I'm trying to be careful what I say. But the people that are manipulating and abusing the system, I don't know what we should call those people. You kind of want to say the Karens, but that's not them. They're not complaining. They're just exercising their rights. So we need a name for those types of people, just so that we know what we're talking about. Anybody have questions?
Patty, I had a question.
Bring it to me, girl. What you got?
In regards to the tenant anti-harassment ordinance.
In LA City or
LA
LA
City.
Okay,
LA
yes.
City. So under section 45.33, it says number 5, attempting to coerce the tenant to vacate with offers of payments.
Yes, they've stopped cash for keys in LA City.
So what if there was already an agreement with the tenant?
When it happened, it happened.
Okay.
Okay. So if it's already happened and now the law says, it means you can't do it going forward. If you've already done it, you can't undo it.
Well, he hasn't technically moved out. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Do you guys want to understand the why they put that ordinance together? April, do you know why they put that ordinance together?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you my opinion of why they did it. In LA City, and it's an LA City ordinance, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. LA City says that you can no longer do cash for keys agreements. They're doing that to force people to use the court system. It's all about the money. Either that or they're trying to educate their tenants. And isn't the court connected with a nonprofit that offers the tenant-free legal counsel that gets paid 33 1/3% of any monies awarded to the court? You guys paying attention? So what I'm saying is, if I live in LA and I do a cash for keys agreement, okay, and get my tenant out and I pay them $10,000, they get $10,000, they move out and we're happy. They're not allowing us to do that. Why? Because there's no money in it for them. As soon as we get into the legal process and start doing it that way and bashing it out, and they have free legal counsel appointed to them, whether it be BASTA, the Eviction Defense Network, I could go on for days over how many groups are out there, you guys, but you get the point. They get the nonprofit attorney that helps the tenant gets 1/3 of all cash monies awarded to the tenant during their trial. So if you pay your tenant $75,000 in relocation fees or to terminate this or pay to get out in the middle of a legal battle, they're going to get $25,000. They're going to take 1/3 of it. What I'm trying to say to you is, by the city of LA passing this moratorium, not allowing us to do cash for keys, they're forcing us to use the legal system. They're forcing us to come up to a settlement agreement that's okay with opposing counsel that's getting paid 1/3 of that money. Okay, they pay themselves 1/3. Okay, so let me explain something to you. I'm calling BASTA. My landlord's doing something to me I don't like. I call BASTA. BASTA says, come into our office and talk to us. They hand you a piece of paper and they can do one of two things. They can tell you it's going to cost you $400 for us to represent you. We need a one-time payment at hello, and we'll represent you. Just so you know, $400 is roughly how much it costs for the court filing fees. So they're not out any money up front. Make sense? Then they do the whole case. Well, when you sign this retainer, it also says that 33 1/3% of all monies awarded to the tenant will be given to the legal counsel, because without them, you couldn't have got that money. So when the tenant hires them, they sign papers saying that they will give them 1/3 of all the monies awarded to them. And from working in the law firm, I could tell you this: when we had a landlord that needed to pay, they had to pay Basta, and Basta cut the tenant a check for the difference. So the tenant doesn't see the money until Basta gives it to them, or the eviction defense network, or whoever they're using. It's a racket. It's a racket. Sounds unreasonable that a tenant gets fat cash for keys and then tattles to the city. I know, I get it. But do you also understand that the going rate right now for relocation fees in a settlement is about 50 grand, and that is not what you are going to offer in cash for keys? You're more likely to offer 20 grand or 10 grand. You see where I'm coming from? But they're going to get that tenant more money, and they're going to get paid themselves. Hence why they take the cases. Ouch. I know. Anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Okay, hold on. Here comes the questions. Does LA City have a 10% max on rent on a new vacancy, recent eviction? No, LA City doesn't. The whole entire state of California does. We're currently in a state of emergency. If you increase rents on a vacant unit, if you increase the rent or increase the price on a vacant unit during a state of emergency, it's considered price gouging. You're susceptible to 6 months in jail and a $10,000 fine. Just so you know, don't do it. So if you want to raise your rents over 10% from having somebody vacate and flipping it, here's what I could tell you, okay? So please pay attention, because this is a good tip and trick, guys. This is what I could tell you. If you do major renovations, okay, to that property, and I'm talking major renovations, I'm not talking about paint and carpet. I'm talking about cabinets and light fixtures, and shine that place up, make it pretty. Maybe you're even going to redo some of the plumbing, add some water saving toilets. I mean, I don't know. You got to do some major renovations. Then you can contact your legal counsel. And why do I say that? I can't give you legal advice. You can contact your legal counsel and tell them how much money you've spent, how much you want to increase the rent, and they will most likely tell you you can do more than 10% because you have remodeling expenses that warrant the increase. Okay, so just know that, yeah, you're only supposed to go up 10%, but if you've totally rehabbed a unit, again, not paint and carpet, I'm talking plumbing, fixtures, light fixtures, cabinetry, gut it and start over, okay? You're more than likely going to be able to increase the rent higher than 10%, because your attorney, and that's why I said call your legal counsel, because they're the ones that stand next to you in court and fight for you. I don't. But I've seen it happen before where they argue an increase due to major renovations during the vacancy period. So there's a few little tricks there, just so you know. Just so you know. Hold on, Melanie, we are in a pre-COVID non-payment of rent, and the courts have made mandatory settlement conference before the jury trial. They always do. They want to see if you can settle before it goes to jury. And usually it does come to a settlement unless you're not willing to settle. And again, that's up to you. It's only costing you the two most expensive things to be in litigation right now. One is time and the other one is money. And quite frankly, I don't want to waste either one of them. I get where you're coming from. But at some point, I mean, you got to look, how much time is this taken? How much money have you lost? How much money have you spent with legal? I mean, there's a few moving parts there you need to look at and try to figure out which one makes the most sense. But you may want to settle. I'll tell you right now, 90% or more of, I think they said 90. I think he said 87. I can't remember now, but it was damn close to 90% of all cases currently in court are being settled. They're not going all the way through trial. They're not going through jury. So a big portion of them are just being settled. How much is this going to cost to go away is what that boils down to. How much am I going to have to pay to prove that I'm right? I mean, that's another question we need to ask ourselves sometimes, okay? Hang on, let me pull this back up again. If tenant is not paying at all, what choice do we have? They owe $30,000 plus. Apply for the government funding for you as the landlord to get 100% of the monies that are owed to you, and then serve the notice to the tenant telling them they have 20 days to apply for the funds. And on day 21, if they haven't applied, evict them. Stop the bleeding. Okay. Apply for the funds from the government, and then it forces them to. And if they don't, they get evicted. If my rental agreement has inventory that shows that there's a refrigerator and an air conditioner left from a previous resident, and the new resident is responsible for repairs or replacement if needed. Ugh. Hold on, I don't like this. I'm just saying, Anna, I don't like this. I don't like the way it smells just in that sentence, okay? How can you make a tenant responsible for repairs on something they don't own? Think about that. So you provided them a refrigerator and it was there for them to use, but in the event it breaks, they have to fix it? No, it doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. If my rental agreement shows inventory that shows that there's a refrigerator and an air conditioner left from a previous resident, what we usually say is that it's there for you to use and the owner won't maintain it. That way you don't have to fix it if it breaks, but you can't make them responsible to fix it if it breaks. Just saying. So I get what you're trying to do, but you worded it wrong. So what you say is it's there for them to use and the landlord will not maintain or replace it, okay? And the new resident is responsible for repairs or replacement. It can't be, it can't. And the new tenant agrees to it. Oh, and now it's an LARSO. Oh God, you're in the devil's cauldron. If a tenant files a complaint, am I responsible if they don't want to pay for a repair or replacement? Absolutely, you provided them the appliance. So here's what you want to do to avoid that in the future. What you say is, the refrigerator is there for the tenant's use. And in the event that it needs to be, it's there for the tenant to use as a courtesy, and the owner will not maintain or replace it. The refrigerator was left behind for the tenant to use, and the landlord is not responsible to replace or maintain it. And you can put that right in your lease contract. Because I get what you're trying to do, but you made them responsible for repairs. You can't do that. But you can say that you are not responsible. It's there as a courtesy, and the landlord will not maintain or replace it. That also means, so that we're transparent and clear here, that in the event that thing breaks and the tenant goes and buys their own, they can throw that away and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Okay. It's there for them to use as a courtesy. The landlord will not maintain or replace it. I use it all the time in lease verbiage. It works all day long. It doesn't work on things the landlords are supposed to do, like water heaters. No, you can't just put that in your lease and think you don't have to deal with it. It doesn't work that way. We're talking about amenities, washing machines, clothes dryers, refrigerators, things that get left by other tenants. So, oh, thank you, Anna. But just change that verbiage. You can't make them responsible to repair it, but you can tell them that you're not going to be responsible to repair or maintain it. In other words, it's here for you to use as a courtesy. If it takes a crap, it's a you problem, not a me problem. But don't word it like that. It's very unprofessional. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Anything you guys need to talk to me about? Otherwise, I will let you go. We'll have a Friday update. Everybody, please be safe over the 4th of July. I don't know why, but people are blowing up my phone. Val, you keep asking me, when is Newsom out? Well, I don't know. Somebody wants to wrangle him up and take him to go hold a target at the shooting range. I'll let you know sooner rather than later. I'm just playing. I'm going to have a cop knocking on my door because I'm trying to be funny, but I don't know. I think that's why he did a little bit of a reverse on this bill. Is I think Aunt Nancy is telling him, hey, this isn't the plan I had for you, kid. You better make this right. And I'm not saying he made it right, but this is some of the best protections that I've seen come out of this pandemic for landlords. I know that sounded disgusting because how is this the best protections? But damn, we got some. We haven't had any. We've had nothing, no help, not a none. We had help till October 5th of 2020 because our banks couldn't foreclose. But on November 1st of 2020, they could start the process. So yeah, it's about time that we started winning some. I was getting really scared there and it was affecting my personality because come on, you guys, let's face it. We've been taking hit after hit after hit after blow after blow after blow. Finally, they tell us, oh, well, yeah, if the tenant doesn't want to participate, you can go ahead and evict them. It's about freaking time. It's only been 16 freaking months. Yes, I know. Don't get so emotionally attached, Patty. I am severely emotionally attached. I am so emotionally attached. And if I stay on here too much longer, I will start ranting. But seriously, we have taken blow after blow after blow. And I remember just standing there going, for like 15 months because I was shocked and amazed at what our government was doing to us. And now, no, they finally see it. No. Yeah, don't get me going. April, you're not allowed to laugh because I will start, what do they call it? Verbal vomiting right out of my mouth. All of my thoughts and emotions that I've pent up for the last 16 months. Because this has been bureaucracy and bullshit at its finest. We've lost our right to a fair and speedy trial. We've lost the right to collect the rent on our own investment property. You want me to keep going? I mean, it was eye-opening for me. This pandemic was eye-opening because it made me realize how much our government controls us, manipulates us. And I don't mean to sound like that in a bad way. I love America. God bless America. You know, I'm all for it. We're the land of the free because of the brave. Don't get me wrong there. But I had a different vision of what that meant. Okay. I had a different vision of what that meant because this kind of felt like We were in a third world country to me. Oh, your rent's not due for 16 months. Now that's 18 months. 18 months. Your tenant doesn't owe you rent. 18 months. But we're the land of the free. No, we're not. No, we're not. That's the part that got me going, huh? I had no idea. I had no idea that they're a government. Of course they have power, but I had no idea that they'd use their power to put us in a position where we become financially vulnerable. It's me shutting up before I say too much more. Okay. It's not fair. It's not freedom. Whoa, wait, I saw Anna put something and I got to see it. Hold on. Everything free in America except for us. Damn straight, Val. I'm an expensive little bitch sometimes. I'm just playing. Land of the free, home of the slave. I had no idea our government could do what they're doing. I really didn't. I didn't think that they could come into my house and take my written rental contract and change when my rent was due. Had no idea they had that kind of power. Nor did I think they'd use it against me for 18 months.
It's land of the thief, home of the slave.
Oh, land of the thief, home of the slave.
Yes. Welcome to the United States.
I haven't heard that. I don't like it because I'm an American and I'm proud to be American. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm live on a webinar, just so you know. What did you say again? The land of what?
Land of the thief, home of the slaves.
And what was the other one?
Welcome to the United States.
Welcome to the United Snakes. That's what he said. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Celebrate your independence. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Keep all your fingers, okay? Yeah, I'm a mom. Can you tell? Don't go blow your fingers off. Have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy yourselves. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It is there. I see it clearly. We're about to skate through this pandemic. Again, keep your mouth shut on people that are acquiring. Don't go run your mouth and get yourself in trouble if another landlord calls you to verify tenancy. We don't talk about what happened during the protected period of COVID. I'm sorry. That's all you got to say. Don't talk about them not paying you and all the stuff they've done to you. It's retaliatory and nobody needs that. All right, you guys have a great holiday. Thank you again for joining me. Do a little brief video recap on Friday for the Widgets forecast, just giving you the gist of it all. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, you guys. I'm actually excited. They're holding tenants accountable for their own bullshit by forcing them to apply for the government money or get evicted. I'm so happy about that. You have no idea. And the fact that municipalities can no longer make their own rules, godsend. Because in the beginning, when they all had their own little rules, and I wanted to rip my hair out. I couldn't keep track of them. They were coming so quickly. So I was so glad when we had bills for that and that stopped. Thank you, Margot. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much. If you need me, you know how to find me. We'll have a quick, brief update on Friday on our Friday forecast. And please, you guys know that if you miss me live, you can go rewatch these on the YouTube channel. All right, you guys have a great 4th of July. Happy Independence. We won some. I'm so excited. Bye.